Thank you for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. In view of the evolving global security threats, stakeholders are developing a comprehensive combat strategy at the National Defense College, Abuja. The Defense and Security Management Course 8 provides participants analytical tools and strategic foresights necessary to navigate the dynamics of the security environment.
The threats we encounter are no longer confined within the national borders, but transcend into the realm of cyberspace, terrorism, insurgency, and other forms of unconventional warfare, among others. It's imperative that we equip ourselves with the knowledge, expertise, and capabilities to build the cross-cutting professionalism required to tackle these obstacles to our national security.
To train members of the armed forces, other paramilitary and other MDAs at a very high level on alternative to military intervention. This is an entirely non-kinetic approach to issue of defense, to issue of security.
The course is designed for middle-level officers in the armed forces, selected ministries and departments. The responsibility of government across the globe is ensuring development and safety of its citizens through responsive governance. This is the focus of the 18th Conference of the Security Watch Africa, with the theme Developing Models for People-Centric Governance towards Enhancement of Peace and Security in Africa. The conference is an avenue to tell the African story in positive light.
People look at security as just the armed forces and police and the paramilitary agencies, but we believe that even we in the media play critical role in security. Our role sometimes are not being appreciated by so many people. Some believe that it could be just for entertainment, but we shape the heartbeat of any society by the information we pass out.
You cannot divorce security with development. And we realize almost 70% of the countries that make up the African continent are experiencing one security challenge or the other. And we are so determined to ensure that these problems are dealt with in the sense that so that we can have development on the African continent.
The convener noted with dismay that the African continent continues to face significant security challenges that seems to stagnate some African nations. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says it is undeterred in its operations of ridding the country of illicit substances, regardless of who is involved. The Anti-Narcotics Agency stated its commitment at a media briefing in Abuja. Salwal Khalil Ibrahim reports.
In the last 3 years, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has been hitting hard on individuals and organizations who deal in illicit substances. This is, however, not without a fight back by the perpetrators of the heinous act. Just last week, during plenary, some senators alleged bias in the activities of the NDLEA, a case which the NDLEA refuted and alleged interference in its activities by some highly placed individuals.
And we dare say that such will not deter us from our ongoing effort to dismantle all illicit drug networks across the country, including the one operating from the senator's personal residence.
The agency says it will not relent in its fight against illicit drug trafficking and use in Nigeria.
We are glad with the progress we are making. We have concrete results to show for our efforts, and those results cannot be whipped away by anyone's careless remarks.
Recall that a bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Drug Awareness and Rehabilitation has passed second reading, as well as an ongoing effort for the amendment of NDLEA Act. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And still on combating crime, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, convened a meeting to address the urgent issue of human trafficking under the project from policy to action towards implementing the National Action Plan on Human Trafficking in Nigeria, that is 2022 to 2026. The policy-level meeting brings together government and non-governmental organizations as well as international partners. Amina Baba Suleiman reports.
Escalating human trafficking cases in Nigeria present concern for the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, with particular focus on victimization of women and children. In response to this disturbing trend, a strategic meeting was convened to evaluate government policies and combat the scourge of human trafficking in the nation. Director General of NAPTIP, Binta Adamu Bello, stressed the necessity of enhanced collaboration and the formulation of effective strategies to tackle this crime.
Define our strategies in the implementation of the National Action Plan on Human Trafficking in Nigeria 2022 to 2026. Through this platform, we seek to ensure that our work remains targeted, effective, and in line with the global best practices.
The government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu remains steadfast in recognizing human trafficking for what it is, a heinous crime.
The meeting emphasized the crucial role of interagency cooperation and information sharing to disrupt trafficking networks effectively.
Our mandate as the custodian of the protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in person, especially of women and children, is to enhance capacity to tackle these challenges.
We are going to partner deeply with the agency to be able to combat this heinous crime that is degrading the lives and potentialities of our citizens.
You investigate, you also attend to the needs of victims.
The gathering emphasized the essential contribution of community engagement in preventing efforts. It also called for local initiatives to raise awareness among citizens about the risks of trafficking. Amina Baba Suleiman, NTA News.
In other news, the investigative panel on alleged corruption and other violations against the Nigerian Correctional Service has completed the first phase of its work and submitted its report to the Minister of Interior. In its executive summary, Secretary of the committee, Dr. Uju Agomo, indicated that so far the committee has not found any evidence that Idris Okuneye, widely known as Bobrisky, spent his jail term outside the custodial center in Lagos. The committee, however, found other procedural breaches bordering on preferential treatment against officers in charge of the custodial center.
Medium security Kirikiri Lagos to the maximum security Kirikiri Lagos, being a first offender, violated Section 16(4)A and Section 16(4)B of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act of 2019. The panel also found that Mr. Okuneye Idris enjoyed several privileges while in custody, both at the medium security and the maximum security custodial centers, which include especially the following: furnished single cells, humidifier, lots of visits by his family members and friends as he desired, visit by his family members and friends held inside the office of the in charge of the custodial center, floor rug, self-feeding, designated inmates to run errands for him, access to fridge and television, and possibly access to his phone.
Some other officers were also indicted for similar cases of alleged corruption and procedural breaches. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has therefore vowed that recommendations of the committee will be implemented, while asking the committee to proceed with the second phase of its work, which is to look into possible reform of the service.
The Nigerian Correctional Service is a very, very key institution. And therefore, any form of corruption, any form of malfeasance, any form of abuse of power, torture, cruelty, inhumane and degrading treatment will never be accepted.
Effective implementation of the Freedom of Information Act will enhance efficient reportage, especially in exposing corrupt practices and shaping public opinion. This was a major point of discuss at a workshop on preventing corruption organized by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, and the Nigerian Union of Journalists.
The outcome of a partnership between an agency almost operating in secrecy due to the nature of its mandate, which part of it requires investigation with an association of journalists. Well, the reason is not far-fetched. Journalists being the eyes and ears of the society, the ICPC chooses a reliable partner to mobilize public support against corrupt practices and to get intelligence through investigative journalism.
The media plays a vital role in shaping public opinion and driving accountability. Investigative journalism exposing corruption holds public officials accountable and facilitates transparency.
In the fight against corruption, the role of the media goes beyond mere reporting. You are the driving force behind the dissemination of information to the masses, and in so doing, you give voice to the people.
It is important to point out that the media will be performing its role effectively by exposing corrupt tendencies and promoting the principles of open governance partnership. But how prepared are we as journalists? Are we not in our little ways aiding corruption by what we publish or not publish?
We must continue as journalists to wield the power of the pen to bring about the Nigeria we all deserve.
With the theme, the power of pen in the fight against corruption, the workshop is a platform where stakeholders brainstorm and come up with best ways of ridding corruption in the country through effective journalism.
All right, let's talk politics. Eligible voters in Ondo State are calling for a transparent and credible electoral process free from rigging, vote trading and external interference where every vote counts. Well, they spoke with NTA News in Akure ahead of the forthcoming governorship election in the state. Abdurrahman Ahmed reports.
As the November 16 governorship election in Ondo State draws nearer, the people of the state are of high expectations on the electoral process and hopeful for a peaceful and inclusive election. While expressing confidence in INEC and its preparations, the people also urged the electoral body to fulfill the promise of a transparent conduct.
I expect INEC to be fair to all. Irrespective of who my choice is or my choices, INEC ought and should be fair to all.
They also want political parties and their candidates to adhere to the rules, conducting themselves responsibly to prevent violence or disruptions before, during, and after the governorship poll.
There should be no intimidation from any quarters, maybe police, soldiers, poll agents, and other party members. So they should allow everybody to exercise its franchise.
Ultimately, the people of Ondo State are optimistic of an election outcome that reflects the will of the electorate. In Akure, Abdul Karim Ahmed, NTA News.
Of course, free, fair and credible election is what the people of Ondo State are expecting in the forthcoming election. We join our correspondent now, Ife Oluwa, to give us latest update. She joins us from Akure. Ife Oluwa, please go ahead and tell us what's on ground. She joins us. Oluwa, please go ahead and tell us what's on ground. She joins us. Oluwa, please go ahead and tell us.
Its promise of delivering a transparent and credible electoral process. This reflects the high expectations surrounding the election and underscores the need for INEC to meet public demand for fairness and efficiency. Also, the Independent National Electoral Commission says over 2 million voters are expected to participate in the election. And the Commission says it has actually started a sensitization drive to ensure that a good percentage of the people come out to vote. Right now, there is relative peace in Ondo State, and the people look forward to a free, fair, and credible election in the November 16 governorship election in the state. Thank you.
All right, Ifeoluwa, thank you for that update. Of course, we'll continue to keep tab as developments unfold. Thank you. Let's look at other issues. The Girl Child Value Support Advocacy Group is canvassing greater awareness on a girl child policy for gender justice in Nigeria, particularly in crisis-affected parts of northern Nigeria. This was brought to the fore at the first ever Street Theatre Festival held in Abuja. Dennis Temple reports.
It was an artistry of justice festival that celebrates creativity while tackling social issues. This stage was set with a beautiful performance led by local artists determined to use their music to spark conversation about gender equality. Their message is clear.
Spit it out. With advocates for gender justice, a new beginning is a mission accomplished only if we spit it out.
The organizers of the program are desirous of a transformed girl child who is equipped with diverse skills of arts to be a change agent, advocating gender equality and social justice.
The project is a whole project. It's called Advocacy for Gender Justice, using different forms of arts to promote the rights of women and girls.
They would use what they have been trained to fight against these social vices against women and girls and pass the message a lot more better.
And trying to see how the rights of women and girls are basically enforced, and just trying to bring an end to violence against women. That's the main message that this is trying to pass, using arts and using stage as a tool.
The Festival of Arts featured presentations from drama sketch and exhibition of art gallery by young Nigerians. In Abuja, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
Well, earlier, still talking about girl child, we had a gender advocate, Mrs. Oluwajumoke Adeni, in our studio, and she reiterated the need to close gaps to tackle challenges hampering the advancement of girl child, especially girl child education in Nigeria, to contribute to nation building. Well, she said the education of the girl child and empowerment of women cannot be compromised, lest they accept. Based on your position at the Hassam Foundation, I'm sure you've been able to solve a lot of challenges for these young girls. What is very significant is the fact that there's been advocacy, for a very long time. Yes. Voices have been amplified, to promote girl child education. But still, we're seeing the gap. Would you say it's society that is to blame, or the parents of these girls?
There has been a lot of intervention. The government has been trying. We've seen intervention from partners, foreign partners, private partners, even localized partners. We see individuals, organizations, but we cannot blame them for this. It starts first and foremost from the family. The family is a place where we have to ensure that these values that are being taught are being promoted. We talk about making sure that everyone is seen. Nothing is seen as a woman's role. When it comes to the family front, we do not say, oh, it is girls' responsibility to cook. No, everyone should participate in cooking. We have the place of the community, the communities, the schools, the institutions, the places of worship, the religious places. We have to ensure that every of these practices and advocacies are streamlined down to places that are of important value and where people draw up their core value systems from.
Knowledge, they say, is power. So absolutely. What would be your recommendation going forward if we must harness a system where girls are not left out?
We need to encourage a mindset shift. We need to make sure that this knowledge trickles down to those who need it. Why? How? We encourage grassroots collaboration. We go out on the field trips. We have, we have data, we have collaborations, partnerships with people who have like-mindedness. And so we reach out, we distribute the knowledge, not just knowledge, we make sure that the people get what they need. That when you train a child, you have the capacity, a girl child, to train the nation and to change the trajectory of the nation.
Mrs. Adeni, you've just hit the nail on the head. Those women who are breaking boundaries is because they were given a chance to be educated. We'll continue to promote the advocacy. Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much. She is Mrs. Olajumoke Adeni. She's a gender advocate and head of operations at Sam Foundation. Right, you know, they start from being girls to becoming women, and in commemoration of the International Rural Women's Day, the Shedda community in Kwali Area Council gathered to celebrate rural women with the theme, Rural Women Cultivating Good Food for All, organized by Better Life Foundation, a non-governmental organization highlighting the vital role rural women play in local food systems and community development. Juliana Nicholas reports that over 100 women assembled for the display of their culinary skills. Her report is here presented.
Rural women took center stage in Shedda community, demonstrating their culinary expertise and entrepreneurial spirit with food at the center stage. The event aimed to empower women, recognizing their contributions to food security and community development.
These women play a very vital role to ensure that there is improvement in food security. It's to amplify their voices, amplify their challenges, and shed light on the culture of the Shedda people. So we have the Bagi here, we have the Gruari here, we have the Hausa here.
The traditional cooking competition, also known as Akuya in Bagi language, not only showcased local talents, but also fostered community pride. As the competition came to a close, the audience were treated to a delicious buffet featuring the competing dishes. Excited with the competition, the women expressed their challenges and appealed for an inclusive environment where their passion for cooking and cassava making, known as fufu, can contribute to the development of the community.
And also thank government that does this program to us. But our challenge is that we need the government to come and give us the land which they will do this akpu so that the Nigerian people will benefit.
It's a program that improves the life of the rural woman. They cook soup and the food within 25 minutes.
The winners took home cash prizes with a sense of pride and fulfillment that will linger for a long time.
Mouth-watering delicacies there. When you empower a woman, you empower her community. Let's get to Lagos to join Michael Olale. He has our next set of reports.
Objectives of Cancer Awareness Month, advocacy is the thrust of the Muslima Health Forum 5.0 put together by a non-governmental organization to promote awareness and social inclusion among Muslim women. Joe Popola reports that experts at the event are urging relevant authorities to subsidize treatment of cancer.
I did a fine needle biopsy for that.
Oyekemi Bawahala, a cancer survivor sharing her experience at the sensitization program of Muslima Health Forum 5.0, buttressing the fact that early detection is a major lifeline to survive the harrowing experience of cancer.
If you get diagnosed early, stage 1, stage 2, you will not need the extent of treatments that people that wait until they are at stage 4 find.
Data by the World Health Organization shows that women have a higher prevalence of cancer, such as breast, ovarian, and cervical cancer. Experts say information and lifestyle modification are essential to combat the disease. Many misconceptions surrounding cancer were highlighted, with speakers stressing the need to place premium on medical solutions.
In cancer generally, staging is very mandatory to know why you want to treat the patient, your intent, whether you are achieving curative intent or you are palliating the patient. You have your faith that it's a trial from the Almighty, but at the same time, He has the ultimate solution, but he has equally equipped people amongst us who have that knowledge, cannot jettison the medical component of ailments and at the detriment of spirituality.
The Muslima Health Forum, organized by Bounty's charity initiative, has exposed Muslim women to numerous networking opportunities.
Muslima Health Forum has helped women, to live elderly, to, impact their team.
A lecture with the theme Serenity Now, Finding Peace in a Chaotic World and Health Souk climax what participants described as a memorable event. In Lagos, Joel Ukwola, NTA News.
Addressing the effects of climate change in Nigeria requires proactive actions by all to protect the nation's biodiversity. This was emphasized by environmentalists and other nature lovers at an awareness campaign by Lagos government in collaboration with the Nigerian Conservation Foundation. Dana Jale reports that the theme of the sensitization work is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience.
Over time, climate change has remained a global challenge, hitting nations around the world with devastating effects that are glaring. Nigeria is no exception. From intense rainfall, flood disaster, rising sea levels to other extreme weather events. For the Lagos state government, civil society organizations, and other conservationists, one of the best ways of cushioning the effects of climate change is continuous public sensitization in urban and rural areas.
Building drought resistance is essential for ensuring food security, protecting livelihoods, and sustaining ecosystems.
The need to protect our land intentionally, making our communities and cities sustainable while adopting mitigative measures towards climate change and ensuring resilient environment.
We are using this medium to call on especially individuals, because sometimes we try to throw our responsibility over to the government. So I want to call on individuals for us to have a change of habit, ensuring that our environment is healthy.
To encourage afforestation in an urban area like Lagos, 6 royal palm trees were planted at the Mobolaji Johnson Stadium, Onikon.
There has to be a lot more retention of green space and even the blue spaces. The wetlands, the mangrove of Lagos must be protected.
If we do not do something now about the environment, we will only have ourselves to blame in the future.
The Walk for Nature ended with a section where participants were educated on how individuals can do more in climate change mitigation. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Thank you for being there. Borno's State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Hawa Abubakar says the ministry is bent on rebuilding facilities destroyed by the flood disaster within the judicial system in Maiduguri and its environs, in addition to renovating structures that are in deplorable condition. The Commissioner made this assertion when she led principal officers of the ministry on an assessment tour of courts ravaged by the flood, in addition to other facilities requiring urgent intervention within the judiciary. Abubakar Musa reports.
The assessment tour of courts ravaged by the 9th September flood disaster in Borno can best be described as a deliberate move by the State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice Hawa Abubakar towards ensuring effective dispensation of justice, as well as other critical issues within the judiciary, in line with the policy thrust of Governor Babagana Umara. The assessment tour, the Commissioner explained, will give the Justice Ministry a better direction to carry out the needed intervention soon. The development, she added, will also serve as a paradigm shift for a more robust judicial system in Borno.
The essence of this tour is for us to take assessment and see how the state government will intervene to see that those courts that need to be rehabilitated gets rehabilitated, those that lacks furnitures to be provided with furnitures and other essential tools for dispensation of justice.
While praying against recurrence of the flood disaster and other natural and man-made calamities, Hawa Abubakar reaffirmed determination to continue putting in her best within the judiciary and beyond. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
All right, we'll get to Makurdi now to join Susan to bring us our next set of reports. Susan?
For joining us in Makurdi. Federal government is carrying out intervention projects to curtail the flood situation in Benue State. Minister for Water, Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Utsev, made this known during an on-the-spot visit to the community in Ugbema towards Kastinala local government area of Benue State, where flood has ravaged the community. Iverian Solomon reports.
Sometime now, communities in most parts of Benue State have continued to experience flooding, which has led to loss of lives, property destroyed, houses and farmland submerged. The situation is worsening as the rainy season intensifies, coupled with the release of water from Lagdo Dam by the Cameroonian authorities, as the Yande-Burukuk Federal Road is almost impassable.
This road is a major road that leads to other states of the country. Commercial vehicles and trucks are trapped here for over 1 week due to the deplorable state of the road.
The road, which links Benue with Taraba and Adamawa states to the north and Cross River Akwa Ibom and Ebonyi states, has become a threat for commuters plying the road and community members.
When you come, you see the whole property, they rent down this road. It's more than 2 months now. We are experiencing this kind of thing.
But with the arrival of the officials of the Federal Ministry for Water Resources and Sanitation to carry out an impact assessment analysis, there is hope that work would commence soonest.
There's a need for a water retaining reservoir or structure upstream of this river, Dura. And in that direction, the ministry has already awarded a contract for study and design of a multi-purpose dam upstream that will kind of contain the water that is coming from that side, so that this issue will be solved.
For now, commuters plying the federal road are deploring alternative routes pending intervention from the federal government. From Buruku local government area of Benue State, Iverian Solomon, NTA News.
More than 3,000 internally displaced persons at the Baka camp, North Bank, have been relocated to cluster homes as a way of finding durable solutions for displaced persons. Elias CTF reports that cluster homes are constructed with support from the International Organization on Migration.
One of the priority areas of the present administration in the state is seeking durable solutions to the displacement of people as a result of conflicts and other forms of disaster. The relocation of the 3,698 persons comprising 1,114 households taking shelter at the Baka camp to cluster homes along Bajimba Road is to provide a more conducive environment for the displaced persons.
I'm very happy for this very day. No more rain, no more rainfall in our rooms, no more erosion. I believe they will not be hungry. Our younger ones will be going to school.
What we want the government to do for us, even if you take us there, let it take us to our home. Because this giving of food, somebody give you food, tomorrow give you food again. That food will not help you. But if it is in our farm, that food will help us much.
Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Amadou Sekunde, said the arrangement is to enable displaced persons have access to security, food, healthcare, education and market, as well as other social support packages.
There's a space that His Excellency has asked UniAgri to provide that land for their agricultural activities. Those that wants to farm, we are ready to provide savings and other farming tools.
We'll be working with the Ministry of Rural Development and cooperatives to ensure that the markets that are there are functional and there is security for them to do their markets.
The initiative, which is under the support of the state government and other international partners like the International Organization on Migration, is to keep the IDPs to ensure their safety while awaiting durable and lasting solutions. In Makudi, Elias, ETF, NTA News.
And that's our package from Makudi. Umar is standing by in Kaduna with more stories.
Tourism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
In Kaduna, stakeholders in Kaduna State have urged Nigerians to embrace President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for a prosperous Nigeria. The stakeholders made a call during a town hall meeting organized by the National Orientation Agency here in Kaduna State. Adamu Sunday reports.
A growing sense of self-interest, often fueled by tribalism, religion, and ethnicity, is threatening the love for Nigeria. This is why the National Orientation Agency gathered key players to rekindle the spirit of shared responsibility and national pride, encapsulated in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, with the theme, Nigeria Core Promises and 7 Core Commitments, emphasizes the interconnectedness between citizens and the government, highlighting the need for a collective effort to build a stronger Nigeria.
We should not consider the tribe, but we should consider that we are all one Nigerian. So we should always help ourselves.
I've learned that the new national anthem shows the dignity of Nigeria, and it is a prayer that makes Nigeria to move forward.
Faith Odejere, representing the NOA Director General, stated that every leader is a living embodiment and an implementer of these core values for a better Nigeria.
The commitments by the citizen is being done, and Nigeria also, the federal government is also able to bring out their own, their own promises, which they promise in carrying out. I think we'll be able to build a good nation.
Our aims and objectives is to unite Nigeria, to become one.
Everybody must be steadfast. Everybody must sit up and see how we can move the country forward.
Stakeholders express the belief that embracing these shared values and working in unison will foster a nation that stands as a beacon of hope and progress on the global stage. The Kaduna Town Hall meeting serves as a reminder that the destiny of Nigeria lies in the hands of its citizens. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
In a significant move to address the needs of internally displaced persons in Katsina State, the Katsina State Governor, Dukko Umar Radda, has laid the foundation for the construction of 152 housing units. Awal Haliru reports.
The project, located in Jibe local government area, will feature essential infrastructure such as connection to the national grid, a skills acquisition center, drainage networks, and road connectivity. It has been designed to respect local culture and traditions with a focus on local sourcing of materials and manpower to boost the economic development of the area. Governor reiterated commitment to efficient resource allocation, noting that the housing initiative prioritizes the well-being and empowerment of displaced persons. Governor urged contractors to maintain high standards throughout the construction process, ensuring a positive impact on the lives of internally displaced persons.
These houses, when completed, will be distributed to the less privileged, internally displaced persons who suffer the negative effect of armed banditry, kidnapping, and other criminal activities in our state.
We are committed to collaborating and partnering with the state and the different governments in the Northwest to develop and implement a comprehensive package of support that would help in addressing the root and structural causes and enablers of most of the pressing challenges confronting the region.
The project is part of the Katsina State government's efforts to promote sustainable development in communities affected by insecurity. In Katsina, Awal Halaru, NTA News.
And that's our contributions from this end. Ruth Aguele will take it up in our Abuja studio. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Speakers at the 11th African Biblical Leadership Initiative have called on leaders to enhance their knowledge, show empathy, and engage in critical thinking to address challenges faced by citizens and promote development. Haman Jabani reports.
African Biblical Leadership Initiative, established in 2010,
aspires to become a non-partisan gathering of ideas and trusted voice through Africa that will bring transformation of value-based leadership, which will promote excellence in service delivery and advance economic development for the people. Speakers say having knowledge and understanding for leadership are important for leaders. This, they say, can be attained by reading, for not merely a pastime, but fundamental activity that cultivates the intellect, broadens perspective, and enhances decision-making capabilities. A true leader must be marked by willingness to give up personal preference.
Strengthen the faith of Christianity here in not only in Nigeria, but throughout Africa, and it can extend to the rest of the world.
And I believe that in all situations, Paul said, we should pray and show humility. God will forgive us and heal our nation, our continent, and our world. But leadership matters.
The value of justice is the foundation of godly leadership. It ensures fairness, equality, and protection for all.
Let this be the time, let this be the clarion call for value-based leadership to arise and lead Africa to where she is destined to be.
The 5-day conference will also look at value of justice, integrity, wisdom, and social harmony as sub-themes. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Nigerians have been urged to have renewed commitment to the promotion of Nigeria's cultural heritage so that the nation can be proud of its history. Now, this is coming from Chief Executive Officer, National Institute for Cultural Orientation, Biodun Ajiboye, on the occasion of this year's Intangible Day of Cultural Heritage. Ajiboye said intangible cultural heritage is a living culture that should be revered and used as a tool for economic development and empowerment.
If you don't pass your culture down to young people, the whole existence that marks your identity will perish. It's a matter of time. So we have a very urgent need in Nigeria today to safeguard a perishing culture. For us to use our diverse language or ethnicity for unity. Imagine a man who travels from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri and is able to communicate in Maiduguri in a language that Maiduguri people understand. He will be taken like a brother. Language is stronger than religion.
Intangible cultural heritage is manifested in oral traditions and expressions like indigenous languages, performing arts, social practices, festive events, knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe, and traditional craftsmanship. Gloria Agbo reports that the day was declared by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, at its 42nd General Assembly in 2023. International Institute of Experts on Political Economy and Administration have described the call for scrapping of the National Lottery Commission and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission by some state governments as ill decisions geared to a sabotaging federal government's revenue drive and the fight against corruption. The Institute advised sub-national government on the financial implications of such on the revenue of states that depend largely on allocations from the Federation account. It calls for a robust dialogue between the federal and sub-national governments to resolve the matter in a way that will be beneficial for all parties.
It is worth of note that over the year, lottery operators have deliberately surcharged the federal government by refusing to remit the due revenue of 27.5% and 25% to the government, respectively.
The institute expressed confidence in the ability and integrity of the Nigeria Apex Court, where the final verdict will be heard, and raised alarm on the 20,000 jobs that will go if these institutions are scrapped. Tragedy we hear struck in the early hours of October 19th as Comrade Bala Tosho, a renowned disability advocate, was brutally murdered at his Abuja residence. Gufan Shaji Ngwai reports that the news sent shockwaves through the community, leaving many heartbroken.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities, Mohammed Abba Yisa, visited the Emir of Buhari to condole with the family of Tosho and the community. He expressed deep sadness, mourning the untimely passing of a champion for persons with disabilities.
The government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do justice. We are going to investigate this matter to the logical conclusion to make sure that we bring this culprit to justice.
So it's a great loss to the council and to this Buhari community. I pray to Almighty Allah that may his soul rest in peace. Amen.
This baby is 3 months. She doesn't know her father. She doesn't know her father. She doesn't know the love for the father.
The SSAP also visited the police to investigate the matter and ensure that the perpetrators are brought to justice. Joining in the condemnation, Executive Secretary, National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, Ayuba Gufwan, described the act as heinous and senseless, calling for swift justice as together they will continue to fight for the rights and empowerment of persons with disabilities. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi, NTA News.
The Executive Secretary, National Senior Secondary Education Commission, Yela Ajayi, has commended Jigawa State Government over tremendous progress recorded in the state education sector. This was during a 2-day working visit to the State by the Commission. Hawa Haliru Haruna reports.
A visit by the delegation of the National Senior Secondary Education Commission to the governor intimate him on the commission's activities, as well solicit support and cooperation. It is also to meet with education stakeholders on how to strengthen the capacity and activities of school-based management committee.
The government devotes 32% of the budget of this state to education, which is far beyond the UNESCO prescription of 25%. It shows that His Excellency knows the value of education.
Jigawa State Commissioner of Education, Professor Isa Yusuf Chamo, assured of more support to make SBMC in the state to function more effectively.
Another thing that we also want the Commission to focus on is the area of training, retraining and sensitization, so that the SBMC members in the country will be much familiar with their functions, with their activities, so that they can be able to handle it very well.
Highlight of the event was the presentation of gifts. From Dusi, Hawa Halara Haruna, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for your company. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.